Hi there, welcome to my backyard. I'm going to save you guys some time by showing you how to take your above ground pool down for the winter. Manufacturers do recommend taking the pool down to properly store it. I'm going to take you guys through that, show you some tips and tricks. The very first thing I do is start it draining. There's a little adapter in your kit. Just unscrew the plug here, screw your adapter onto a garden hose. The reason I start draining it right away is because it's going to take hours for this to drain. On this Intex pool, there's a drain spot on each side of the pool, which is really handy. We're just going to hook it onto our hose there, push it in, and then we'll direct that hose where we want all the water to go, away from our house and any structures. And while it's draining, I go around and scoop out any bits of debris I can get. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to take our good vinyl pool brush. We're going to brush all of the walls and the floor. We want to break up any algae, any loose debris or anything, so that'll drain out because we want to store this clean and dry. And also make sure your pump is unplugged while it's draining. Once your water level is drained below the level of the output ports and the return port, you can go ahead and start disassembling all the hoses and everything off of your pump and filter. I like to keep everything stored in a nice storage bin. Now I do get some questions about the sand in the filter. What do I do about that? Honestly, I open up the drain valve here, let as much water drain out as possible, and I just leave the sand in the filter. I'll leave this cap off for a number of days actually. Just make sure that it drains really well. Also kind of tip the pump around a little bit, get all the water out of the pump as well. Drain it as good as you can, and then I just leave the sand. And then once your pool stops draining because the water level is below the level of the drain on the side, you're going to go to the opposite end of the pool and you're going to grab the liner and you're going to start pulling it up to try to force the water to go to that side. And another trick that I'll use to get as much water out as possible, I'll take my hose and I'll actually siphon out if there's a little low spot in the pool somewhere. I'll try to get this hose. Obviously the water's running right now, seems counterintuitive. Throw the hose in there and then I'll turn the water off, disconnect it from the faucet, and I'll siphon out. It'll actually siphon out because I'm siphoning to a lower area of my yard. It'll siphon it out so there's only like a half an inch or 3/4 of an inch of water left in the pool. That'll be a lot easier to handle. Once all the water's drained, we're going to go through and remove the frame in the reverse order that we put it up, starting with the 4 corner brackets. Pull these guys out on all 4 corners, then we'll go through and remove all the U brackets on the sides. I was kind of getting ahead of myself with taking the frame down and filming and all that. I was just trying to do more than one thing at once while I was filming. So in the next scene, I'll show you guys, I'll talk about taking down the frame. But first, I recommend before you do that, you want to get the inside completely dry and take towels, wipe it out. If you have a bucket, like a square bucket or Tupperware or something that you can scoop water to get the last little bits of water out, that's also super effective. But then ultimately, we're even going to take towels. We're going to go around, we're going to wipe down the whole pool, wringing the towels out, getting all the little bits of debris and any leftover algae or pine needles, whatever's in here. We're going to wipe it and squeeze it out the side. We want the inside to be completely dry because we're going to end up folding the inside in on itself. We don't want mildew and things building up in here. So before you take the frame down, like I've already started to do, we'll get to that in the next scene, get the inside completely clean and dry. Okay, now that we've got the pool 100% clean and dry, we can go around and start taking the rest of the side supports out. We'll get to these top bars here in just a second. Honestly, it's probably the hardest part of this job. If you're finding this video helpful, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. That really helps me out and I greatly appreciate that. Now I can go through and take out these top posts. Like I said, this is probably the hardest part of this job because these posts just get stuck in here. The best way to do it is kind of go around like this, and you just pull it away. Stick your fingers in these little holes here, make sure there's no little critters in there. You go around and you just peel, it just like adheres itself to the top post. Then sometimes when you can get a little crease like this, you can work that around and just kind of massage it, keep moving it, and it'll slowly start coming apart. And then when it does, when you got to do the whole line like this, and then when it's finally apart, it'll slide right out. But this takes quite a bit of massaging and moving and manipulation to just break it free. So it just sits there and cooks in the sun and sticks itself to the pole. Obviously, I moved the liner over into the grass and the shade where I could work on it. Just trying to get these side poles out. Keep just manipulating them, moving them, massaging them. Buckle up for this part, because yeah, this is not the easiest part. The other side came out a little bit easier. This side, I was in the full sun more often. It's just giving me a lot more trouble. So I'm actually taking a little piece of cut off PVC here. It's like a quarter of the round of the PVC. Just a flexible little piece. I'm trying to be careful not to poke any holes. That's my worry. I just don't want to poke any holes in the vinyl. But this is giving me just enough reach to kind of go down there and free it up. Almost got it done, but yeah, this is a battle. So now I go around and I pull the corners out, each corner, and then I fold the two ends in on themselves, and then fold the sides in on themselves, wiping down the outside as I go around, and then just keep folding it in on itself, wiping it down. If you have a tip or something I didn't cover, be sure to leave a comment down below, particularly on separating the vinyl from that top tube. That is such a pain. Maybe try some soap, baby powder, cornstarch, I'm not sure. Now that mine's all taken down, clean and dry, I'm ready to store it through the winter. Personally, I'm going to keep mine in my attic. That's a great place for me.